But it was just a blast. We really bonded. We had some bad boys, Harrison being one, and Paul and Matt. They were like living up to their roles. And Joe the Pharaoh, and we had Manuel Padillo was one of the Pharaohs, and Cindy and I, and Charlie. We were all like always watching out for those people because you never knew what they were going to do. And I think Harrison and Paul got kicked out of the Holiday Inn eventually because every morning when you'd wake up there would be like beer bottles on top of the revolving Holiday Inn sign. Or someone's windshield got cracked because they were throwing beer bottles out of the second floor. You know, there's just a lot of vandalism going on. But it was still fun. I remember I was waiting for Richard Dreyfuss to come for lunch one day, and it was, you know, daytime. We were going to go out and have a bite. And I had my Volkswagen there, which was running at that point. But so I was waiting and where is he? And so finally a knock comes at the door, and I open the door, and there's Richard Dreyfuss soaking wet. He'd been tossed into the shallow end of the pool by Paul and Matt. I took him by the arms and legs and threw him in. He had a big old goose egg. And I think that some of the scenes, his hair is kind of down, trying to cover this bump. But it was just always some sort of gossip that we had going, like what's going to happen next. And it was just a blast, but it was a lot of work. I don't know if anyone's ever worked the night shift, but it is not easy. And I think we shot a night or two in San Rafael, and we got promptly booted from that town because some bartender complained that we were disrupting the flow of his bar. So we wound up at Petaluma, which was very, very, you know, they liked having us there. So it was good fun, and we shot, it was all night for night, but we did cheat on one scene, and that was day for night, which was me and Toad down at the lake. And it was so embarrassing. I was having a really hard time. I made Charlie wear English leather so I could feel like I was back in the back seat of some car in Fort Worth, Texas. But anyway, Charlie had to wear English leather all the time when we worked together. And there we are out on a blanket out there in broad daylight, and Charlie's like on top, and it was just mortifying. But anyway, I never liked those kind of scenes. But that was the only time we shot day for night. They put lenses on and made it look like it was really nighttime, but it was broad daylight and very hot that day. I remember it was hot out there, you know, the levee or wherever we were parked. We were driven around, so I never knew really where I was when we went to locations. But I've been to Petaluma recently, and it still looks pretty good. It's you know, they now run tours and show people where certain scenes were shot. The liquor store is still there, but now it's a bait shop. And at one point I did this show where their gimmick was, it was called Movie Lovers Road Trip, and I was in the pilot episode, and they took us back to Petaluma where we shot. And every place we went, I'm like, this is not where we shot, this doesn't, you know, so I was really messing it up. And they said, yes, this is it. This is where the liquor store was. And it was just a blast. And everyone was really easy to work with. It was a real team effort. We bonded. And I think the reason was because we were working at night, and we were the only distraction. The world was asleep. We were up. And it was a hardship shoot. There was no place to sit. We were standing. It was cold, and we just bonded, and we've all stayed in touch. We've been brought together over and over again for film festivals, photo shoot. Ann Leibovitz shot our picture. All the graffiti people. In April 2000, we were in a 3-page fold-out in Vanity Fair. We've been honored. We're in the best 100 best films of all time by the American Film Institute. We were number 77. We got boosted back down to like we're in the 60s, and I just want to be number one. I just want to see us be number one, and we will. And a lot of the graffiti people, we do a lot lot of hot rod shows now. We travel, and we've kind of perpetuated the name American Graffiti. I've been doing hot rod shows for 8 years. A lot of my weekends are taken up traveling and meeting all kinds of people, and it is a very emotional film for people. I've met people who actually cried when they talk about American Graffiti, and it's going to make me cry because I love it so much. But anyway, how weird, what a weird reaction. Anyway, seeing George's sister, you know, and she's got a thick head of hair just like George, and I mean, 20 hairs per follicle. Anyway, people have cried tears talking about that movie. That's where they took their wife for their first date, and that's when at the theaters used to let you sit, and you didn't get scooted out of the theaters, so you get to sit there and watch it over and over, and it really got drilled into your psyche, and it got it has built so many industries. The hot rod industry got a huge boost from that. The pinstripers, the painters, garages, collectors, it just exploded the whole let's get the car back scene, because we were in that film came out in 1973, and so it was the Pintos, you know, it was the ugly era of the car world. It was cheap built junk. So everyone wanted to get back to their real steel car with a real chrome, and so it opened that world back up again. And because of the 45 songs, and those people's careers were over with. It was the time of the Beatles. It was the time of a whole different music scene. It opened their careers back up. They were in much demand. They were doing fairs. They were doing concerts. Oldie concerts came. And that is still huge, huge, huge. And so is the car collecting world. And it's just helped so many fields of work and built careers, and it gets a lot of credit for that in the car world. And so, you know, it's because of George Lucas. I guess we just didn't all realize we were all doing the same thing. In Fort Worth, Texas, I would go from Carlson's Drive-In to Lone Star Drive-In to Carlson's Drive-In to Lone Star Drive-In, and we spent our whole evening just, you know, inching along. It was fantastic. And we were doing it in Texas, Modesto. It was just a phenomenon. And you know, my age group just, you know, we're the Peter Pan generation. We don't want to grow up. We want to just stay in our teens, and we're pretty well succeeding, you know. And you know, that's just the way it is. So. That's my recollections of graffiti. It was a life-changing event, and I'm still talking about it 35 years later, and I can talk about it and talk about it, and I never get sick of it. I've seen the film 50 times at least, and it's always new to me every single time. I always see new stuff. I always hear a new song, a new line of dialogue. It's just one of those films that is very magical. So that's my take on it.